Good morning. It's always difficult to follow the governor when he speaks, so I'll do my very best. I want to welcome everybody this morning, and especially also, before the governor leaves, I want to thank him for everything he just announced. $1 billion more, but combined with a reduction in the amount of procurement mishigas that goes on, that too is probably worth another $1 billion. So I'm looking forward to this, and I'm sure for those of you vendors out there, rest assured we will put together some kind of a system that will work for all of us. You know, today we're taking an important step forward to provide all New Yorkers with a transit system they deserve. The way I define it, it's a transit system that needs to be safe, it needs to be reliable, and a viable subway system. So before I begin, let me also recognize a few people who are here. Councilman Ydanis Rodriguez, who is the chair of the New York City Council Transportation Committee. Thank you, council member, for being here. Ronnie Hakem, who the governor introduced as the interim executive director of the MTA. I noticed when I came in there were numerous MTA board members. I can't see any of you with the lights that are on me, but I did see a couple of them, and I want to thank you very much. Andrew Albert I saw, as well as a couple of others, so I apologize. Rick Cotton is here. He is special counsel to the governor. Jamie Rubin is here. He's the director of operations. And my good friend Pat Foy, who is here. He is the executive director of the Port Authority of New York and New Jersey. Please give them all a round of applause. I was going to say how honored I am to have been appointed by the governor to now come back to the MTA and rejoin them as chairman of the board. I am very honored to do that. I'm a New Yorker through and through. I told some folks earlier today, one of my very first remembrances of the subway system, I think, was in 1950. Believe it or not, 1958. I was about 6 years old and I ran away from home. For 15 cents, I was able to get on the subway. I went about 5 or 6 different areas, and then I realized I didn't have 15 cents to get back, so I got off, went around the other side, and came back home. So I have been part of the subway system, and the subway system has been part of me for quite a long time. And I want everyone to have that same type of experience. I know the subway system was and can be the crown jewel of the city of New York. And I know from experience that the men and women who work at the MTA are some of the most dedicated, driven, and talented people in this city. I'm under no illusions, however, of the challenges that we face. Years of underinvestment, combined with an ever-growing ridership, have left the system in dire straits. New Yorkers expect better, and they are rightfully frustrated, and they are disappointed. However, I know that there is a path forward. I know that what the MTA team is capable of. The governor talked about what happened in 2012 with Superstorm Sandy. Again, he said and credited me. No credit belongs to me. The credit belongs to the men and women of the Transit Authority who made it their job with tremendous enthusiasm to be able to make sure that the subway system was back to help the people of the city of New York, and they were able to do it in 48 hours. That amount of work by the transit workers in New York City was not only exemplary, but it is an example of what we are capable of. They are the example. What they were able to do in that dark moment in this city and in this state, they were a shining beacon to show what can be done. And I look forward to working with them again to make sure it can get done. You know, with the support of Governor Cuomo and the leadership at the MTA, we're going to address all these challenges, and we're going to have to build confidence. Today's Genius Challenge marks the beginning of a long-term effort to reimagine, literally reimagine the MTA. It's a broad, and you know, it's not just the subways, as the governor talked about, it's the Long Island Railroad and Metro North, as well as the bridges and tunnels. We're going to start, however, with the subway system. You know, it's going to be a long-term effort to reimagine the system. It's a broad call for ideas that reflects a completely no-limits approach. and is a testament to our commitment to overhaul the authority and the agency and in rebuilding our subway system. Look, the larger effort will impact everything we do, and it's going to be driven by 4 interrelated priorities. First, we have to invest in our people. We have to invest in the personnel. The MTA, I believe, based on what I've seen, has some of the most talented transit specialists in the country and an unparalleled workforce that is committed to its mission and is dedicated to the people of this city. We have to ensure that we continue to attract skilled workers, and that we give these men and women the tools necessary and the training and the retraining that they need to keep this city and our economy on the move. Second, we need to implement and execute processes that work. Just because something is done a certain way and it's always been done that way before and it's worked in the past doesn't mean that it's the solution for right now. Last night, I ripped my office at home apart looking for something that I gave everybody on my staff when I became deputy mayor in 1998. And it was a button that I finally found, and anybody wants to come home with me tonight to put my office back together again, I appreciate it. But it's a button I gave everybody. And it says, "But we've always done it this way before." No. That is not going to be part of our lexicon. I don't want to hear it. What I want to hear are new ideas. As the governor mentioned, out-of-the-box ideas. Let's live outside the box. Let's come up with as many ideas as we possibly can. Processes that we have now are slow and inefficient. You know, the governor talked about the system as a circulatory system. It kind of, during the wooing days of for this job, that's what I told him. It's the circulatory system. But given, you know, where I come from and other parts, the system itself can be sclerotic. It's got plaque. We need to find ways to fix it and get that circulatory system running again. You know, we need to perform, from how we perform track maintenance, to how we repair our subway cars, to how we motivate our employees, to how we communicate with our employees as well as with our customers. And by the way, I'm going to say this once, you'll never hear me say the word again. We don't have riders. We have customers. And the customers are always right. We need to listen to them, and we need to understand how important they are. They are why the MTA exists every day, to allow them to go to work, to allow them to go to school, to go to wherever they need to go, and none of them need to go there and worry on whether or not they're going to get there on time. That's my sole commitment to you as we go forward. The third thing we need to do, as I talked a little bit about, we need to improve all the channels of communication between the MTA and all of our customers. And, you know, it's been a perennial challenge. You know, I mentioned, you know, what I did in the late 1950s. You know, when I used to hear announcements on the old subway, I thought they were talking in a foreign language. I had no idea what they were talking about. But it's gotten a little better, and it took a long time. We can now hear it, but we've got to go a lot further. We've got to find better ways to communicate. We've got to use every form of modern technology. Let's lead the technology. Let's find interactive ways to communicate with our customers, to communicate with our cars, to communicate overall in what we do. We've got to do a better job of leveraging technology and new mediums of communication to reach all of our customers. Which leads me to the fourth priority, which we have to find ways to engage and implement new technology. Governor spoke about that extremely eloquently. Today, the MTA runs, people say, on a 20th century system in the 21st century. Think about it. The system opened in 1904. It was designed in the 19th century. For the most part, it's still running on that concept of what was developed by folks in the late 1800s. And that's problematic in the 21st century. We've got to get there. New technologies can help us improve safety, reliability, and our capacity across all of the system. And we need to look at all of the technologies that are used all throughout the world. One of the things that I've known about New York is the amount of pride we have in saying that we've created this and we've done this for the first time. Now is the time to look to the rest of the world, because I'm one of those people who absolutely believes we are the capital of the world. That doesn't mean we have to develop everything here, but we've got to take the best ideas and the brightest people that we find all the way throughout the world, the geniuses, as the governor calls you, to be able to take your ideas and bring them here, because the people deserve that. And for too long, we've been focused on maintaining yesterday's infrastructure without looking to the future. We need to create the solutions of tomorrow. We have the vision and the momentum. It's starting today, and I'm totally committed to putting together the plan that the governor described, the 30-day plan, the 60-day plan. We've already started it. Ronnie and I have already started it. Its name is the Subway Recovery and Transformation Plan. We will present that to the governor and to the public. The processes that we'll look at, we're going to take an introspective look at ourselves, as the governor asked. And so today, we're going to do a top-to-bottom audit or an analysis of the entire organization in the next 30 days. This review will help us identify the strategy to overhaul the system and move forward to the 21st century. And building on this effort, we're going to come up with a long-term plan, a detailed long-term plan to overhaul the organizational structure and modernize the entire subway system. Working in parallel track with what we learned today during the Genius Conference, we're going to be able, and listening to all of our stakeholders, to design that path forward. And as New Yorkers, we can't wait. Every day that goes by brings new delays, like the governor described what happened this morning, new frustrations, and it hurts our economy. This system is too important for the economic engine of the city of New York and the metropolitan region for us to stall any longer. The New York City metropolitan area actually represents almost 20% of the GDP of the United States of America. We've got to keep it going. It is critical, not just for us here in New York, but critical for the entire country. So we're going to present this plan within 60 days. And let me be clear, everything is on the table. No sacred cows. We're going to listen very closely today. No idea is too crazy. No idea is too ambitious. We're going to explore every possible avenue. It's time to think outside the box. It's time to start living outside the box. And at every step of the way, we're going to be transparent. We're going to make this known as we go forward, what's going on and what information is there. The people deserve that. And we're going to be accountable to the people of the city and the state of New York. We cannot achieve our mission without the trust of our customers and the confidence of our customers. So moving forward, we will communicate our plans and we will show the progress that we're showing to transform the MTA. So I want to thank you again for joining us in this endeavor. I look forward to this entire conference today, working together to build a new MTA. I'll end with what I started with. New Yorkers deserve a safe, reliable, and viable subway system. That is our goal. That is our charge. That is what we must do. Thank you very much.